evening and welcome to another edition of Sunday Night Live. Such a pleasure to have you with us as we journey through the world on our travel edition of SNL. You may unfortunately be couch-bound, but we, through the annals of virtual reality, will transport you around the globe tonight and show you many different weird and wonderful things. And we are so glad you are along on the journey with us. We have 4 on-location presenters tonight, and we will be discussing the journey through life. So if you have any questions, please do post them on the chat, and we will be sure to answer them in a timeliest manner. Right now, we'll be crossing over to our first on-location presenter, and her name is co-anchor Kelsey, and I do believe she is in the snow. Let's have a look.
Yes, hello Kevin. Woo, it is freezing. As you can see, I'm here in the Andes. No guys, not those Andes, although it is pretty handy out in the Andes. Whew, no, not handy Andy. I've just been taking some ski lessons. It is freezing. I'd just like to thank my stylist Beth for this incredible scarf, and here I am getting ready for my first slopes. Woo! I think it has a lot to do with my ski shoes. And here we go.
Maybe a second below. But this is one of my favourite runs in outdoors, and I'm going to call it the Cheeky Marmot, because it starts from Marmot 2.
This is a little crazy. Oh my goodness, and it is sloping. It's sloping. I think this is what they call a black slope. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, okay. I think I'm getting the hang of it now. I think I'm getting the hang of it,
Are you okay? Well, I think it's terrible connection there in the Andes where she is, or the Alps. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, our next presenter, you first met him last week when he shone like a star eating a chili and some worms, and today we have Jan Ben on safari. Let's see where he is.
Thank you, Kevin. As the sun sets here over the Karoo or Tanzania, you can hear the tortelduwe in the background. Oh, majestic as they are. You know it's been getting quite chilly here in South Africa, but with that, I just put on 2 pairs of socks to keep me warm. And as you can see from the visage happening behind me, I've met some lovely people, saw some brilliant things, but don't blink in case you missed it. So with that, I want us to see if we can call out the animals.
Yes, let's call them.
Ha ha! Ha! I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I thought I would just clean myself up before we go for the safari. I do apologize. Let's give that a second try. Ha ha! Ah, Kevin, I think it's back to you in studio.
Good evening again and welcome. And for our third presenter, we will be crossing over the Atlantic Ocean to a beautiful white sand on Ipanema Beach, Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, with the lovely Rebecca. Let's see where she is.
Olha que coisa mais linda, mais cheia de
Hey! Please, Rebecca, please turn on your translator. Turn on your translator.
Sorry. Hi, how are you everyone? We are here in Ipanema Beach in Rio de Janeiro. And I just would like to tell you that today is a beautiful day. And if you didn't know that, but Rio de Janeiro means River of January, but there's no river in Rio. So I don't know why the name is that. But
Rebecca,
I just would like to say it's a beautiful place.
Rebecca, sorry to interrupt. Is that how you pronounce Rio de Janeiro?
The translator's on, so that's why it keeps going Rio.
Okay.
You have to turn it off, the translator.
Okay, can you please switch it off and say welcome to Rio de Janeiro, and then do turn on your translator after that.
Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, that's a wonderful
It's
enunciation and pronunciation.
Yes. So we're here, we're going to play some futebol.
Good golly, you're good at that.
And it's back to you.
Back to the studio.
Yes.
Wonderful. Oh, what dark music we have on set this evening. But this is not the Phantom of the Opera, but it is rather dramatic for our next location. It is possibly one of the most enormous places I've ever been to, seen of, or heard of. But let me tell you, if you've been to Bloemfontein and the Free State, you've been to Texas, where Ricky Town is. Let's cross over to Ricky Town.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Yes. As you can see, I'm on Uncle Billy Bob's ranch, and we've just been milking the cows here. As you can see, the weather's great, actually. Never had any better. I want to show you guys some of the places I've been while I've been down there in Texas. If the guys can get that up for us.
Where have you been, RJ?
So firstly, we paid a visit to the NASCAR race.
Oh,
As you
NASCAR.
can see, there I am.
Did you drive a car?
I did indeed, actually. I kitted up for the race. It was magnificent. Didn't crash, unfortunately, so it wasn't much entertainment for the crowd.
All the haters say it will be Photoshop, but I do want to ask you one interesting question around the instructions given at NASCAR. Was it left turn straight, left turn straight?
Pretty much just left. Keep
Okay.
left.
Keep left. Okay.
Keep left. That's all you got to do. The next place we visited was Clint Eastwood's ranch. There you can see me over there. It was great weather there as well. And then the last place we visited, this was one of my favorites. I actually had an opportunity to work on the ranch. Guys, get that up there. There you go. Working the tractor. I do like myself a checkered shirt, as you can see. Well, there we go. Back to you, Kevin.
Wonderful. It is so wonderful to travel these days and journey through the world. But for now, we must prepare ourselves to have a wonderful evening of discussion and delight as we talk about our journey through life with Christ. Let's get ready. Welcome to our lounge, where we have all of our wonderful presenters, and I think we're just going to take this opportunity to, instead of having an interview, we're going to do a live lounge discussion. And seeing as we're traveling around the world, a bit of a journey, we can't journey through the world at the moment. Why not just talk about our journey with Christ? I think it'll be really helpful. For those maybe watching and those that we invite to watch this, this is from a younger perspective, and they're all younger than me. I'm the old man in the room. I'm the old man in the room, and it'll be great to hear your walk with Christ, especially over the last while, being on lockdown, 2020, how you see the future. And we've all come prepared for this, so don't just think that we're thinking great questions off the top of our head. But does anybody have a question to go? Yeah, you had a great question.
Yeah, sure. So Jan Ben, the question for you is, what did you do, or what's your advice for people out there where their current reality has not aligned with the expectation that they had, the journey with God? That reality is not aligned with the expectation.
Yeah, it's a great question, RJ, and thank you for that. I think there's no easy answer to it, and I think for me, I've noticed that like my view of time or my time frame, I always want the answer as quickly as possible. And based on past experience, God, based on past experience, it's only after some time that I actually get to see, that was the bigger picture that God was preparing me for. But in the moment, I must say it was difficult. But I guess now looking back, it's easier for me to say, well, I've been through that, and God has been faithful through that, and that just gives me courage to face the current storm that I'm in.
Yeah, that's good, man. I love what you said. It's about faith. Because if you don't have that along the way, you get lost.
Yeah,
amazing. Kels, so coming out of this, like, you're single, obviously.
Yeah.
What?
If we haven't
Whoa!
said it before, everybody.
I'll put out a
And
number.
I'm not getting any younger.
The number should pop
The number will pop up later. Her number, not the number. Just in case people wonder why I'm dressed like this. But Kels, you are single.
Yeah.
You do love your singleness. So
Most days.
So
some days, not
Rebecca and I know you quite well, and you enjoy single. And how do you walk out your journey with Christ? Okay,
Yeah.
based off being single, living alone. What does that look like? What does your journey with Christ look like?
So I think it's two things. I think one, kind of making the most of every opportunity. So I think sometimes when you're in a single season and maybe you're there, you kind of like, oh, but I see all these happy married people and oh my goodness, they're just so in love and look at their cute kids and oh, it's beautiful. I'm not speaking about anyone in particular. But it kind of is this thing of, you know what opportunity do I have? And I can honestly say that during lockdown, I had moments where I could actually be in relationship with God like I would a person. And I think that was the biggest kind of like difference for me, is I began to actually make the most of that opportunity. So
That's
I think
great.
it's making the most of your singleness with what you have. Like, cool, I'm gonna enjoy a glass of wine on the couch and sleep in tomorrow morning because I can. That's the beauty of it.
That's
Sure,
amazing.
that is-
And just by the way, Mel Pile wants to introduce you to some of her friends.
Fantastic, Mel.
So, gentlemen, if there's any of you watching and you want to get in there real
I
quick,
had part two, okay? I had
get
part
in
two.
now. Anyway,
I think the second thing, just like when it comes to journey, is being obedient. And kind of just saying like, let's take it one step at a time. So whatever it is that you're going through, it's kind of this thing of like, faith is obedience, but not like the marathon all at once. It's kind of just taking it one step at a time. So a little bit at a time, not necessarily having the full picture, because I don't know if God speaks to you like that, that's amazing. But to almost just be like, hey God, what is the next right step for me? Like, what is the next thing I should do? And just do it like one step at a time.
amazing.
Yeah, so maybe another
Shoot.
question was, well, what is Urban Life's plan, or what is the future of young adults? Like, what does that look like practically? So I kind of
me young, so
And what constitutes as a young adult? Because I'm asking for a friend.
Well, I feel like I'm 23,
Yeah,
that's
I
as
mean-
old as you feel.
but I'm 10 years off that. So what is the future of young adults? Well, I think they're certainly the next generation to do something big.
yeah.
And obviously, being part of the leadership of Urban Life, we want them to do something big, and I think the church is in their hands at the moment, and as it is with anyone, but it's yours to grow, and it's yours to further the kingdom of God, as it is our job too. But there's new ways coming out of this pandemic. I think the world is changing. And it's changing for young adults
good. Yeah. And they techno savvy. Maybe not you, Jan Ben.
I mean, most
We've taught
people my
Jan
age
Ben
haven't.
to
I'm
read.
probably by the way,
exception.
we've taught Jan Ben.
What
We've
an
taught him
iPhone
some
can do.
stuff. You know what he can really do with his iPhone.
Amazing.
Besides send WhatsApps and make phone calls. But technology is in the favor of young adults. And maybe Sunday Night Live is a place where we can get young adults to view church in a different way.
Yeah, what I love about like what you've said in terms of the technology enabling us, it's so easy if you can't make 6 o'clock on a Sunday night, even though we would love you to comment and participate in these discussions, if you can't make it, you can watch it on demand, and that's the brilliant thing.
Amazing, yeah.
Like rewind 20, 30 years ago, like that wouldn't have been possible, and that's brilliant.
No on-demand there.
20 years ago we had tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
you had
And
to
we
pass
used to
them on.
and we
Kev,
used to
you
sell them.
and I, like we know, you know.
Yeah.
These guys are all
Yeah, we
like
know
the
nothing.
young
What a
adults.
Yeah, what's
we
a
all-
tape, hey?
Yeah.
Not the anyway, not the stuff that's
And
thick.
RJ, like maybe for you, if I can just jump in, like you're a young adult. Okay, oftentimes we forget how young you are because you know. But how have you navigated your journey in terms of like being a businessman, a father? You know, like you have led young adults. Like how have you navigated that and the different seasons maybe?
So honestly, I think I've got to give all the credit to the people around me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So sweet.
These people too. But one of the big things for us that changed my wife and I's journey with God is definitely our community. It just, I mean, not to say that we were bad people before that, but
Don't lie.
no, maybe a
Okay.
little, maybe a little. But our community just really changed it for us. They kept us accountable. You know, they were there when we needed them most. We went through some tough times as a married couple, but the big thing was that we had community.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to be on the receiving end of that, but the next step was to now become the community for somebody else.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, we
Come
couldn't
on.
just sit there and go, well, that was great. Now we can just spectate. We actually had to go, now we need to do it for the next people. And I think this is really what this is about as well. You know, it's really to get the next generation. I think church is great, but what I love about what Urban Life is doing is they're allowing the younger generation to speak up and say, hey, why don't we try this?
Amazing.
And that's,
Yeah.
So before we carry on talking amongst ourselves, is there anybody watching that might want to ask a question other than how do we get Kelsey a date?
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, please write them in. Oh, there you go. 082-555 Kelsey.
Oh my dick, nice job guys. That was quick.
And because RJ, you work with Vodacom and cell phones and stuff, he's gonna get that live.
we'll actually zero rate any messages from that as well for you.
and phone calls.
That is a
Oh my
toll-free
goodness.
number.
Yeah.
All right, enough
So
of that.
someone did ask, what is the cutoff age for young adults? Mel, you're a young person.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
act
yes.
like you were in.
Mel,
Yeah.
you know, you have things to teach young adults and obviously further than that. But would you say that there's a cutoff?
Yeah, I think it's super tough because some people are very mature and some are not so mature. But at the same time, I almost want to say, like, as time goes by, people are getting younger. Like, the way people
Yeah.
are is younger.
It's good.
That's to you,
Good.
you and Kelsey specifically. It's not about the hairlines.
Yeah. Oh, is it not about the hairline? Yeah.
It's not at all. Otherwise, we wouldn't be.
That's why I was wearing a hat earlier.
But yeah, I think it's really tough to put an age on it because we don't want to. I think if you want to join, if you want to be part of young adults, we're opening the door. Because
Yeah, I think so.
all that's going to happen is we're going to say, look, the content we cover maybe might not be applicable to you, whatever the case may be. So we could just move along to the next.
We do have a good question coming.
Yeah.
How do we, as single community, navigate through this season? Hearing God, not going into depression,
A rut.
or a rut, or a lack of in how can we look to our leaders to help us in this?
It's a really good question. Jan Ben, are you single? 'Cause I feel like you could answer this maybe.
Yeah. So I'm also single, and also, I guess it's very awkward right now.
Almost as bad as the chili. Wait, no, wait, I just want to see the light.
Can I get that chili, please?
The lighting hasn't changed, but he's suddenly got a tan.
Yeah, no, so if I'm honest and vulnerable, like to me, what happened, I've realized that if I don't speak out and if I don't reach out to other people, like I'm not building community. Like my, almost want to say my mental well-being is my responsibility. And if I reach out to other people, it makes a big difference. So again, to be vulnerable, like the start of the lockdown was quite difficult for me. Like when we weren't allowed to go outside or exercise outside, that was quite difficult. And it wasn't until I actually reached out to people that I found, yes, I'm so grateful for this community and so grateful for the people speaking into my life. So I think in terms of how our leaders can help us in that, I think they're also dependent on us reaching out to them. They're not going to know what we're going through unless we tell them.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that is good.
I think that's how do we navigate this single or married? I think it's the same deal because your marriage could be in trouble, locked down. And who do you go to? And it's all about taking that brave first step, right? And so it is with God and journeying with Him through life. I found oftentimes God is inviting, but it's up to us to take the first step. Obedience isn't just saying yes. Obedience is going yes and then walking it out. So
And just linking on to what we said earlier. That first step, that initial move that we make, we don't always get to see the full picture, and I'm actually glad because of that. Because I think if we saw the full picture right from the start, we might be scared and might be like, rather not. So,
little by little. And so this one's for Rebecca.
Just because I've been quiet.
Because
I
you've
was
been
like, she's
quiet.
so
If you're quiet, we will pick on you. Anyway, so we have a group or guys that meet as not guys
Sorry, where's
People.
this group? I don't know, I missed it.
of guys, yes. We have young adults that meet, youth and young adults. Who are led by people within Urban Life. How would you join that? How would you become part of the youth and young adults within Urban Life Church?
That's a great question. No, I actually do know the answer.
You do. That's why I asked you.
We looked at you for a second.
What's the
I do know that some people do, some of the young adults do meet on Mondays.
Monday nights,
via Zoom. And I'm pretty sure like you can join, you can, even comments in the comments, comment in the comments.
We've actually got some leaders on the chat tonight. If
Yeah,
you wanna,
just say, hey, I would love to join this small group. I would love to be part of it. I would love to actually just get some community. So go say, hey, what's up? Can I join?
Yeah.
And join tomorrow. It's Monday tomorrow, so
Because it really is the more the merrier.
Yeah.
And it's not an exclusive club, and it's an entire generation that need to be looked after. Not because they are not independent and not able or not mature enough, but just we want to, as a church, look after them.
Yeah,
And
they are the future
Yeah,
of the church.
they are.
basically.
Yeah, and it's not awkward or anything.
No.
If
And-
you're awkward, don't put your
don't.
camera on and just chat or say,
or put a
I'm
virtual
here.
background.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Kels has a great question.
Yeah, so we have a question that says, have you guys found yourselves becoming more introverted during this lockdown? And how do you start transitioning back into kind of being people driven? So it's from Judd and Jiv, cute together, how sweet. So
They're in young adults, by the way.
yeah, they're in young adults, they're awesome. But I think, I could say like for me personally, it was pretty easy to become quite introverted. Because at the end of the day, like, there's not really an ask to be around people. So I'm actually not allowed to, so it's kind of like, cool, I'm just gonna be me, unless I'm walking in the same property that I'm in. But actually it's easy to become introverted, and I think in a way it's easy to become super self-focused like that. So the thought of going back to people where it's like, oh, it might be a little more, people can be draining. Some people can be life-giving. Like it's almost a thing of like, I'd say it has to be a transition into it to go, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
So what I would say is little by little. Take it 5 minutes by 5 minutes, or an hour by hour, or whatever it might be. Whether it's we're allowed to go back into the office at work, or we're allowed to go to that classroom or whatever. And I would commit to doing it 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And yes, you've got to wear a mask, and yes, you've got to sanitize your hands until you see your bones. But push yourself to do it once a week, and then you'll see it'll just become easier. I mean, none of us speak from experience, because none of us have reintegrated fully back into life, and we're going to see it. And this morning, at Church Online, right at the end of the experience, we had a psychiatrist. Let me get that right. Psychiatrist on, and she just started breaking down some of the psychological ways of lockdown and how we come back, and emotions and mind, body, and spirit. So it was really great. It was really helpful, and the key would be to keep talking.
Yeah. And an introverted is not a person that actually doesn't like people, but it's just a
Are you
person.
speaking from experience?
We reach out. I am an introvert. I actually miss my introvert time because my kids, they don't let me have some introvert time. But it's just, we reach out by ourselves, but it doesn't mean that we can't be with people. So I think we have to be careful that we use introvert as a way of hiding from people, because actually like this is what I do believe that the enemy wants us to hide from people and not be in community and be completely ostracized from community.
So good.
So I do think that it's not a good excuse to have, I'm an introvert, so I'm not going to be with people.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being vulnerable, for opening up, asking great questions. Thank you guys for your questions. Sorry if we didn't get
But
to all of them.
there's a good question.
Yeah,
there.
there's a good
What's a good question?
From Warren.
From Warren.
How have you managed to draw closer to God in this time?
How have you managed to draw closer to God? Sure.
I mean, I'll
RJ,
speak
do you
from
wanna?
experience here on, and it's maybe not a good thing, but definitely what I've had to tell myself to do is not let busyness get in the way, because COVID and all this has just created, especially from a business perspective, has created like an immense amount of stress and pressure and all these things, and you can almost go like, it's okay to throw myself into work, or if it's studying, if it's whatever, it's like,
whatever
and
it
exactly
might
to
be.
come back to your point of the enemy is like, that's exactly what he wants. He wants that distraction, he wants those things. So I think the first thing is, from my perspective, is I had to become aware of it. So what was my thing? My thing was work. For some people it's studying, whatever it could be, TV, whatever that thing is, identify it first. And then go, okay, cool, I know that this is a trigger. This is the thing that actually pulls me away.
Yeah, it's good.
And then just get back to it. Just get back to, you spoke about disciplines just now. I think that's, just be aware of it.
It's that obedience, that slow walk of obedience in the same direction, and we just keep going. But thanks guys for being vulnerable and for opening up. But right now we are going to play a game called Newsflash, right? And so what's going to happen is we're going to have our presenters back on location. Each one is
You're
going
also
back
there.
to their location. Well, what they may think is their location, but might not actually be their location. And I'll be giving them hints as to where you are, and when the time comes and it draws to a close, I'll ask you where you think you are, what's going on behind you, and you can give us a thing. But you'll be in front of a green screen, and you'll have no idea of what's behind you or what's going on the screens. We might have to switch some screens off here in the studio, but let's cross over to that game. So good to have you back with us.
I lost my accent in that transition. I am so sorry. But, oh no, wait, there we go. The regal music has returned, and my accent too. Anyway, we will be going straight over to Kelsey.
It's freezing as it was earlier. I'm not really sure. I can't really tell. There's a lot of action possibly happening behind me, but I got nothing, and I don't think Kevin's got anything either. Oh my goodness! I've fallen once already. Can we not do that again? Okay. What?
It's all below you.
Well, Kevin, that's very rude.
How did you get there? How did you get there?
Is it underneath me? Like, what is happening on
Kelsey,
this?
what are you doing going
I'm worried.
in that direction? Don't go there.
This way or that way? I don't know which way I'm going. So
Please
it seems
answer
to
the
be
question of
pretty
how you got
interesting.
all the way up there.
I'm an adrenaline junkie.
You must be.
Yes, I'm an adrenaline junkie, and I'm ready to just take the leap.
And do you like living on a knife edge?
On a knife edge. You know, I like to live dangerously, Kevin. So,
Kelsey, are you afraid
here
of
I
heights
am.
at all?
Sorry, say again.
Are you afraid of heights at all?
At this stage, I could say I am very afraid of heights. In
At-
terms of what is happening behind me and below me.
Holy moly.
Okay. Am I jumping
and
at any
so-
point? That's what I want to know.
so
like,
Kelsey,
am I jumping?
Is it breezy where you are?
It's a little breezy. I don't have all my layers on.
And what would you say the temperature is currently?
Freezing. Below
Freezing?
freezing.
And do you have your head in the clouds?
Am I skydiving?
All right. Kelsey, where are you and what are you doing?
I feel I'm an adrenaline junkie doing something crazy, but I feel like it's skydiving or
No,
climbing
no.
a mountain into the clouds.
No, so you were skiing down a knife, just like the knife edge of a mountain.
Wow.
It was really making me very afraid.
was
You're doing it again. Stop it now.
Just make it stop.
All right.
Nee. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you. So, our next presenter, Mr. Yanben, is again on safari, and let's see where he is. Yanben,
Yeah, Kevin, can you hear me?
why are you not inside?
Kevin, as you can see behind me, this would be the reason why I'm not currently inside.
Please describe.
There's a
Mayday!
lot of danger
Watch out!
happening
Please
specifically
move!
here.
Move!
A lot of danger.
Are
there.
you afraid?
Kevin, at this point, I'm
No.
really afraid for my life.
Yeah.
I am. I want to know, does our
Why are
broadcasting
you-
service have insurance? That's actually all that I want to know.
I want to know where to book one of these.
Kevin, I mean, as you can see, this is a very unique experience. So it's not really like something that you book in advance.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
So I mean, as you can see behind me, there's a lot of action, specifically in this area.
There really is.
Here.
Please describe to me how you got there.
Well, Kevin,
Please
it's
move out the
very-
way quickly.
Move. You won't believe it, but it started with a debate on
Yes?
political justice in South Africa. That's where it all started.
Oh my goodness! And it resulted in that quarrel.
Exactly, Kevin. Exactly.
And do you enjoy watching this?
I mean, Kevin, at this point, I'm a bit afraid for my life, but
Yes, I would.
this is not something that I watch on a daily basis.
And does this intrigue you?
Which way?
So Yanben, obviously you know where you are. Can you, in your own words, try and describe something of what was going on behind you?
Well, Kevin, I think lions were attacking a zebra behind me, or some form of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, there were very many snakes. There was perhaps a leopard swinging from an impala on a tree. There were some lions fighting, some big lizards that were very scary. But you did a fantastic job at patting that leopard's bum. You really did. It was absolutely fantastic.
Well, I mean, Kevin, when you do get the opportunity, one should make the most of them.
Yes, if you get that close to pat a leopard's bum.
Thank you, Kevin.
Well, our next presenter is co-anchor Rebecca on the beaches of Ipanema, or is she? Let's take a look.
Hello, everyone. I thought I wasn't going to be in Ipanema anymore. I thought I traveled to somewhere else.
Have you ever tried this before?
Coca-Cola, yes. Guaraná, yes, I have.
Okay, and have you ever positioned yourself there before? Could you just step to your right?
I don't know where that is.
That way, yes. That way, other way.
Other way.
Yes, that's the way. Have you ever tried this before?
No, because my mom said I shouldn't.
Yes, you really shouldn't try that at home. Have you ever done this with your children?
Probably not.
Yeah, no. I can vouch for that. And would you stand as close as those people are standing to that?
No, because it's we have to be 1.5 meters away from each
That is
other.
also correct.
So carnival is not allowed.
What just happened to that gentleman?
I don't know, but I wouldn't ask too many questions.
And is it hot where you are?
Yes, it's very hot. Should take my jersey
Would you
off.
describe this environment as hazardous to one's health?
Depends. Depends of what time of the year it is.
What time of the year it is?
Yeah.
Yes. And can you specifically tell me that lady's name?
Her name is Juliana dos Santos
Right.
Pereira.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. What do you think was happening?
You're running out of creativity right
Yes.
there.
What do you think was happening on the beach behind you?
I think they were playing. They were jumping in the.
Well, I think it was just a bunch of people getting smashed by waves. And it still continues to this day. But anyway, thank you for being a great presenter.
Pleasure.
So now we cross back over to the Great Plains of Texas, where we have our very own Ricky John. Let's see what he's up to.
Hi, Kevin. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Why are you inside?
It's pretty chilly outside at the moment.
Okay, so you've got inside.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm indoors.
And what are the ropes for?
The ropes. So I have to get it right to get the cattle. And it's literally the flick of the wrist. That's how you get it right.
And how do you think the comfort is of what is going on behind you?
I would say this is the most comfortable place here.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
But here, you don't want to go anywhere near whatever's happening here. This is just...
And what type of species is that?
So this is a rare kind of bull.
Yes?
Big horns.
Interesting, yes.
Big horns, yeah.
Point it, show me where it is, please.
So these are the horns that I was referring to.
Yes.
And then if you have a look, they normally shape up like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And in which direction would they be going?
So normally the bulls tend to run this way.
Yes.
Yeah. But you actually have to chase them in order for them to go that way.
I've never seen it. I've never seen a bull like that. Where is it from?
Right down in Texas.
Right now in Texas. That's wonderful. And is this a sport?
Oh, of course. It's next to NASCAR, the most popular sport down here.
And how would you win this sport?
It's all about team effort, Kevin. All about team effort. Yeah.
And is there any particular direction that they should go in?
As I said, right is preferable. But if you need to, you can go left, but there's a lot more obstruction if you go this way.
And have you ever been caught behind one of these?
From time to time. If you're not quick enough, you can.
Yes.
It definitely can happen.
And the audience, do they play an important role?
Oh, I mean, what's sport without spectators? Come on.
What is sport without spectators? RJ, where were you?
I would say bull riding, perhaps.
It was a very close guess, but I think the wrong species of animal.
Horse riding, definitely horse riding.
There were horses definitely involved, lots of rope.
Cool.
And people falling off in every direction. That is wonderful. Thank you very much, RJ. Thank you so much for watching Sunday Night Live. We hope that you were entertained. We put a smile on your face and that you learned something new and important this week. Please do not forget that we have the Botshabelo Relief Fund for those that don't necessarily have the means to keep on providing for their family. And if I could, I'll ask you keep on giving. You've raised over 500,000 Rand for them, and we've really changed people's lockdown stories because we've been able to be generous. So I'd encourage you to keep being generous, and God bless us so that we can bless, not so that we can keep. We just are conduits that keep on giving. Don't forget there's skillful schooling on Fridays at 3 p.m. And then the important one is to join us on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. for Grow, where we are discovering Jesus on every page. And it really is going to be a good series. I don't know how long it's going to go for. It's going to go for a while, but you're going to discover Jesus on every page. And again, thanks for watching. We hope you have a great week. Enjoy the public holiday on Tuesday. If you didn't know you had one, there you go. Congratulations. And enjoy. Cheers.